Why does the moon hide one side from us? And why does she borrow light but never create her own? And why during an eclipse does she perfectly veil the sun as if by cosmic design? The moon isn't merely an object in the sky. She's the mirror of our soul. She is the first gate of initiation on the path of awakening. What the moon reflects, Saturn refines. Saturn is the alchemist, incinerator through the trial of discipline to force us to turn within. Saturn is the outermost visible planet, and he forces us into transformation, which is represented by Pluto, the outermost invisible planet. But the moon's job is to be the vessel that holds our emotional waters through this process, and she reveals what still needs light, mirroring our inner landscape while Saturn tests our strength. Together, they form the first alchemist polarity between the masculine and feminine energy, reflection, and refinement that leads to improvement. Through the moon's soft mirror, the stern teacher, Saturn, both guide the soul towards illumination. If you've watched any of my videos on Saturn, especially the video entitled Saturn the Black Sun, you already know that the ancients gave Saturn that title for a reason. But this is also tied directly into why alchemy and initiation were linked in the winter months. The reason Saturn was called the Black Sun has a lot to do with the solar cycle itself. From Libra, the sign it is exalted in, which is the fall season, through Aquarius, the sign it co-rules in the winter season. While Saturn travels through the darker half of the year, the daylight lessens and Saturn's influence grows stronger. So during this period, the light of the sun, although weakened, it doesn't vanish, it turns inwards. So the winter becomes the alchemist season for the inner fire. The sun now reflects inwards to light the fire from within us, while the outer world rests during the long fall and winter season. The soul's furnace is active. By the time the sun rises or is resurrected right at the spring equinox, the inner work is ready to re-emerge as new life. So the descent of light is eventually renewed. But the moon plays out this same cycle every single month. In this video, I reveal the occult meaning of the moon and why her mystery holds the key to shadow work, emotional alchemy, and the rebirth of the soul. Let's keep in mind that all the planets have a job and therefore must work together. So I'll break this down in more detail. But first, welcome to Starwell Astrology. My name is Shari, and I'm a Western tropical astrologer with a very deep focus in shadow work and emotional healing. My approach blends astrology and shadow work with esoteric mysticism, astrotheology, and the Hermetic principles, revealing the hidden meaning behind each astrological archetype. And this deepens our understanding of the psychospiritual effects of shadow work. In this channel, I explore astrology not just as a system of signs and planets, but as a sacred map of the soul, a way to understand our unconscious patterns, to integrate our shadow and awaken our true divine nature. For added support, I invite you to my free weekly shadow work workshop held every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. To join, just send an email to starwellastro@gmail.com. Also, I want to mention that I do offer personal natal chart readings and also one-on-one shadow work coaching. My information is below. So the ancients taught that the moon's hidden side is no accident. It's a mirror of humanity itself, represented in how from Earth we only see one side of the moon. So do we only see one side of ourselves? The other half lives buried in memory. Both our conscious and unconscious memories are tied to our emotionally programmed core beliefs and our wounds. The moon reflects the Earth's emotional tides, both personally and collectively. And during a full moon, new moon, or eclipse, our inner waters rise and fall in rhythms with the moon cycle. And this is not superstition, it's resonance. So the moon's energy is reflective of our emotional body. And through the practice of shadow work, it unveils hidden wounds and conditioned beliefs that reflect our emotional truth. Half of our consciousness belongs to the moon's lunar phases. The sun rules consciousness, but the moon rules both our conscious and unconscious memory. And the moon's hidden side, which is our unconscious shadow side, is not evil, it's just unlit. So every phase of the moon is a heartbeat of the Earth's emotional body, as above, so below. The moon tracks our vibrational imprint through emotional resonance, translating this energy through our outer reflections. So the moon is the veil in which we perceive our reality, and the moon governs memory, karma, and reflection. It's the tide of our inner waters or blood. So the moon's memory is the ocean we're born into. Ancestral story, karmic residue, and emotional imprints are all related to the moon sign. Just as the moon moves through the tides of the ocean, she also pulls at the hidden tides of our psyche. And this is why the mysteries of the moon's lunar cycles repeat until we awaken. Shadow work is the art of tuning in to notice the cycles that allow us to awaken and become more conscious of our choices. So the moon has no light of her own. She borrows it from the sun, just as our personality borrows awareness from the higher self. In occult terms, the moon symbolizes the emotional body, our habits, our reactions, and filters. And the sun symbolizes pure consciousness, the I am presence. And shadow work is the purification of the lunar mirror so that the solar light can shine through without distortions. And when the mirror is clouded by unresolved emotions, it scatters the sun's light into projections and illusions and reactive cycles. But when we face what we fear and forgive what we hide and integrate what we repress, the lesser light becomes faithful to the greater. So at this stage, we live not by borrowed light, but by the radiance of spirit within. So the moon's purpose gets fulfilled when she leads us back to the sun. So why does the moon perfectly cover the sun during an eclipse? The odds are astronomical, yet the alignment is exact. And the mysteries say this is no coincidence. It's a teaching. During an eclipse, the emotional body veils the true self, which is the sun. The emotional body is the moon, and the true self is the sun. The shadow literally crosses the light. These are moments of revelations and cosmic initiations. And this is when buried emotions and karmic residue rise to be cleared. Until we face the shadow, the false lunar self continues to obscure the solar truth. And the eclipse reminds us that the soul's light must pass through darkness before illumination can be whole. In Hermetic and esoteric mysticism, wisdom, this is the first initiatory gate. If you saw my previous video, I explained how this is the phase of coagulation ruled by the moon, the Cancer season. And when we heal our shadows through our moon sign, then we are given a chance to move through the portal to our sun sign, which is Leo. So this is a portal of reflection, memory, and purification. This is how we get to Christ consciousness, because we are working at healing our emotions so that we can heal our heart. Christ said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." And that's because the heart cannot see clearly. while resentment and fear clouds our judgment. So just as Saturn governs the long night of the year or the winter season, the moon governs the long night of the soul. Saturn tests through time and the moon tests through emotions. Both ask the same question. Can light stay conscious inside shadow? Can you face the tides of your being without turning away? Can you see what is hidden and love it back into light? Shadow work is lunar alchemy, the polishing of the mirror that bears our true reflections. Each fair-faced and forgiven is a veil lifted. And as the lunar mirror clears, the sun within begins to shine. This is why no seeker can leap to the sun without passing through the moon. Those who bypass her realm fall into the false light, the illumination that flatters the ego and leaves the heart untouched. The false light avoids the shadow. The true light redeems it. True light is humble. It is embodied. It includes every single wound. It shines not by escaping darkness, but through it. Beyond the moon's gate awaits our initiator, which is the black sun, known to the ancients as Saturn. It is the hidden sun, the soul's testing ground. Saturn is the keeper of karma, demanding that we heal so that we can live through higher wisdom. Where the visible sun radiates outwards, the black sun draws us inwards to the monad, the singular source from which all light is born. It is the crucible that burns away illusion until only truth remains. The ancients call this the blackening. It's the first stage of alchemy, the light turned inward. The black sun is the seed of illumination concealed through shadow, the beginning of the great work. And Saturn is the guardian of the outermost visible gate. As the black sun made manifest in time, he governs karma, structure, and discipline. And this is the sacred limits that matures the soul. What feels like restriction is actually refinement. To many, Saturn and the black sun sound like two forces, yet they are one current seen from different depths. Saturn is the outer gate, the keeper of time and responsibility, and the black sun is the inner face of that same power, the furnace where the false light burns away and the true light is born. When Saturn's lessons is mastered, the black sun reveals itself as the heart of the monad. And that is the inner sun that shines without shadow. So Saturn tests, the black sun transforms, and the monad illumines. When that refinement is complete, the same force reveals itself as the inner sun, the monad, the original spark of divine consciousness. And the black sun, Saturn, and the monad are one current in 3 octaves. But no one gets to this without first going through the moon. We have to descend into the shadow, master through discipline, then reascend as embodied light. And the moon, which is our soul, must enter the black sun as lead and then emerge from the monad as gold. So when the inner fire has done its work, the purified soul enters the alchemical stage of coagulation, the union of spirit and matter. Here, consciousness begins to crystallize into divine form. And as I mentioned before, this is the stage of Cancer that's ruled by the moon, and Leo, which is ruled by the sun, as I discussed in my previous video. So this is the philosopher's stone that has no longer separated light from the body and heaven from earth, spirit from matter. This is the Christ consciousness, the divine light embodied, loved, and made tangible. And the stone is not a thing to possess, but it's a state of being. There's clarity so pure, it turns shadow into wisdom and matter into spirit. The goal is not to destroy the moon, but to purify her reflection until it reveals the true light of the sun. So once the hidden face is integrated, the lesser light perfectly mirrors the greater. When the emotional body becomes transparent, divine spirit can be expressed effortlessly. And this is the threshold before crystallization, the luminous solidity of soul. This is where awareness becomes coherent and we are transfigured into the pure substance of being. The moon's purification each month mirrors the same sun cycle through its resurrection each year at the spring equinox following Saturn's winter reign. The moon teaches that half of her face is always hidden, and so are we. Shadow work isn't about digging into our pain, it's about revealing the light that pain conceals. Each time you face what's hidden within, you polish the mirror of your soul. We become more luminous, more whole, and more free. If this speaks to you in any way, then join me for my free shadow work workshop every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're interested, just send an email to starwellastro@gmail.com. So shadow work is not about going into the darkness alone. It's about discovering your hidden light. And we do this together in the workshop. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you and goodbye.